Are there any plans on adding new classes at some point? Oh yeah, definitely. I would say so. We do plan on adding in new master classes, and we do plan on adding in new base classes too. New base classes will be that's quite a far ways off. The new mastery classes will be significantly before new base classes. We still don't have like a fixed date on any new classes yet. I do know likely what the next, I would say, 2 new mastery classes will be. I bet I could call the first 2 mastery classes with pretty high confidence. All right, summarize what is new in cycle 2. Yeah, I mean, so we do have a whatchamacallit, a roadmap that does have that information on it. So if you want to reference that information anytime, you can check out the roadmap. It's linked at the top of like all of the Reddit, Discord, Facebook. It's linked everywhere. Summarize new cycle 2. Right, that's what I was doing. So yeah, we've got our Nemesis system. We've got our Harbinger system. And we've got our Pinnacles system, our Pinnacle boss. Those are the big key things are that. We are also, you know, like there's, and then we've got just like there's a ton of bug fixes. There's like skill updates, new unique items. This is just stuff that comes with like every. There's a list at the top of that roadmap as well. It's just like things that we do all the time. Yeah, I think that's the sort of design. So we have specific masteries that are already planned for the existing base classes.
Hello.
That I think will go really well with them. That will they'll be really positive new masteries for the existing base classes. They'll fit nicely. Bring in some new play styles, explore some extra like gameplay elements that we've kind of intentionally sidelined in favor of having room down the road for these things to come in as like complete ideas instead of partial ideas. But then I think there's a point that we'll get to where maybe we're sitting at multiple like 4 masteries per of the 5 classes, and we have 20 masteries, and it's like adding in a whole new base class might be a little daunting, and then starting to have this like mix and match feeling might be a good point, good play at that point. I think it's tricky. It's one of those things like as the game's going to evolve, we'll look at all these things, and with the evade mechanic coming in 1.1, can we see any unique items to buff it? Yeah, there are items in 1.1 that do interact with the evade mechanic. There's I don't want to get into too much details about them, but like some of them are pretty transformative. If you really don't want to use the evade mechanic, there's items that will help you not use the evade mechanic and still get value out of that system. So yeah, there's a good mix of stuff coming in there, but yeah, there's a couple unique items and things to interact with it. I can't really go into too much detail yet with them because those are still very much in flux. Boom boom. All right, this is the new Circle of Fortune rank 10 reward thing. What you get at rank 10 of COF. Simple, to the point, straightforward, easy. Are you open to adding funny cosmetics like a spacesuit or sexy stuff, or will the game always stay on serious levels? I don't like funny. Serious is generally not the axis that we tend to look at there. More of a like in universe does it make sense? So like spacesuit and sexy stuff, probably not. That's the sort of stuff that we are we're intentionally avoiding. But you know, like having stuff be a little bit of a joke, I think that's the sort of stuff we're open to. you know, I think having uh, yeah, things that are like maybe poking fun at Last Epoch itself. Maybe there was like some bug that happened, and having like a cosmetic that goes along with that bug or something like that. But still like makes sense in universe, I think is the important part for us. So like we're still, because there's no astronauts in the Terra, we don't want to have a spacesuit, you know, that sort of stuff. So yeah, we're steering away from that type of stuff, but at the same time, like I think there's room for like comedy MTX that makes sense still. Since you have time travel in the game, have you ever thought about going into the future? Oh yes, like in a big skyscraper city for an echo. I know swords don't quite fit there, but still, yeah. There's going down a path like that is what happens when I'm playing out of the corner of my eye, or I'm using the tiny little preview window of stream to try and navigate. I'm like, the blip's over that direction. If I just hold the cursor to the right, I'll go there. Anyways, yes, we have considered going to the future. It's not off the table. It is possible. I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. That's sort of a like we've been around for 5 years, and we've done the storylines we had planned for the eras that are here, and we're like looking to branch out and try something that's a little out there, a little wacky, a little different. You know, it's a time like that we'd more be interested in looking at the options that are out there for us, and those are potential things we could look at. Boom. All right, this is a node in, I believe it's the disintegrate tree. Yeah, it is. If you start channeling disintegrate while having at least one stack of, I don't know how to pronounce this, Lucomancer? It starts at tier 2. If you also have the amplification node and at least 2 stacks of Lucomancer, disintegrate starts at tier 3 instead. There's some cool terms in there. I wonder what they all do. Is idle crafting in the works, or is it down the road? It's down the road. We have not set in stone what idle crafting is going to look like yet. At some point, there will very likely be some way to affect the stats on your idols in some form or another. My personal favorite for that right now is as a dungeon reward. Possibly as a series of dungeon rewards, or like dungeon with multiple entrances that can do different things based on which one you go to, or you know, I don't know how it would look, but I would personally really like to see it in the game, and I think the best way to add it is as a dungeon reward. But maybe not. Maybe there's some other mechanic that comes in as like a cycle mechanic, and as part of that cycle, you can craft idols with some mechanic that comes in. I don't know. We haven't got that far with it. We kind of like, someday we'll have it. Love the game. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Do you think that the mob density will ever change? Sometimes it's a bit much, and other times it's lacking. What are the team's thoughts on this pacing? I think there's overall. So we've changed the mob density in just about every single major patch for the last like 2 years, and it's been a steady increase actually. I think it's very rare that it's too high at this point. I think it's overall in a pretty good spot, but probably generally a little bit on the low side. I think there are situations where it's a lot on the low side and situations where it's a tiny bit on the high side, but like I don't think those extremes are too far. Like, I don't think those are really super extreme right now. Yeah, I think it's probably like, I think there's some situations where having some like a little bit more extreme mob densities in just like a couple spots for fun would be cool. But yeah.